Hey everybody, this is Travis here with Chaotic Crafter Zero Studio, aka just me here in my living room. And we got a really special episode today. We're doing an interview with an artist, and we have a really good friend of the channel and a friend of mine as well, Neo. He's an artist. He's also a miniature painter. Really cool, just general awesome guy. And I just wanted to make this about learning who he is and what he's done, how he's gotten to the point that he is now. So go ahead, friend, take it away, sir.
Hey everyone, my name's Neo. I also paint miniatures, surprise, surprise. Um, I'm from California. It's hot as hell here. I hate it. Screws up everything with painting. It's humid, but you know, is what it is. Miniature painting is what I do. I also do other things. I also draw. I like airsoft. I like a lot of typical dude stuff. But Warhammer is my main shtick, as if it were.
Awesome. Yeah, I got your Instagram up here so you guys can go check him out. He also has a website as well, and we can get into that a lot more later. Yeah, so Neo does commission work too, which is exciting. But before we get into all that, um, I just wanted to kind of know, like, how did you get into the hobby, man? How did you start into Warhammer 40K, and what kind of got you going into this? I'm curious.
So what got me into Warhammer 40K initially was I was around 10
Hmm.
and I went to Anime Expo in Los Angeles because I live near LA.
Hmm.
And me being a little 10-year-old was walking around with my family and I saw someone dressed up as an Iron Warrior Warsmith and I
Oh,
thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I told my mom like, "Oh, what's that guy?" And she's like, "I don't know. You should go ask him." So I like timidly walked up to him and I'm like, "Who are you?" And he explained to me, "Oh, I'm an Iron Warrior Warsmith." And he explained to me what Warhammer was, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." And when I got home that day, I like went to YouTube and I started like looking at everything Warhammer related. I'm like, "Dude, this is so cool."
wow. So you literally met a real life space marine, not to mention an Iron Warrior, and you're like, I could imagine you walking up to him. He's like giant, right? Because he's in his
Yeah, no,
full.
he's in his full cosplay. He's like, since I was like 10, he was like 4 feet taller than me, probably.
Dang, that's awesome. And he's just like,
Yeah.
wait, you want to know about this? Just starts knowledge dropping on you.
Yeah, he started knowledge dropping about like, oh, I'm a Iron Warrior Warsmith, and
Huh.
this. Listen, I had no idea what he was talking about, first and
Right.
foremost. But I'm
Right.
like, this sounds really cool, you know?
Oh, that's so cool, man. And then, so you started researching it, looking at YouTube, and then how did you
Yeah,
get into the lore first, or did you kind of get into like the model painting, or how did that kind of happen?
I got into the lore first because at the time, since I was 10, um, since we're immigrated from the Philippines,
Hmm.
we didn't have much money, so I couldn't afford the models. Um, so I just searched up videos and I just looked at video games and all that. But around 2020, I think, is when I started really looking into models. But again, since I was still, we weren't really that rich at the time, I still couldn't afford them.
Hmm.
So I did the best thing was I looked into the games.
Hmm.
And the games really pushed me in the right direction to um, like delve deeper into the lore and
Gotcha.
whatnot. I
Gotcha.
remember
Hmm.
playing went to a buddy's house and he showed me Space Marine 1 at some point, and I was like, "This is so cool, dude! This is so freaking cool!" And
Yes. Oh, with Titus and
then,
everything.
yeah, and a few
Mhm.
years ago, maybe like 1 or 2 years ago, at this point, I started delving more into the fantasy side because I guess 'cause I played a Total War Warhammer 3 and 2, I think,
Hmm.
and that really delved me further because the fantasy side is really cool. I love Age of Sigmar and I love Old World. So that was also another push for me to go further into the lore. And now I just flip flop between 40K and AOS Old World.
That's awesome. Unless you do a little bit of because I saw on your Instagram, you do have the Chaos Dwarf here. Looks like a Minotaur type thing. That looks
That
very
is the Dominator engine, I believe it's called.
Dominator engine. How cool! Yep,
Yeah.
from AOS. That looks really good with the green there. You did a great job on him, man, and that base looks awesome. Also, so I know that's like one of your signature things is the basing work. You're not just working with the regular bases on these. You're elevating them a little bit more. And I'm just kind of clicking through, and here's Mortarion, which is just absolutely gorgeous, man. Great work on Morty there. Wow.
Yeah, those models are a bit old by now. That's what I didn't paint in the Grimdark style. Yeah, those are old. You'll see the shift in my Instagram when I started really improving more. But those are my early depths of the painting 40K.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see like your first post with the Death Guard mini here, and even the bone work that you got on his shoulder pauldron. I can tell that's you're definitely leading up to something. Like you're doing some edge highlighting here. I see some dark green in the recesses. You got the chainmail on there, but it's not like to the grimdark like how it is now. And I can I'll show a couple different pictures and like, here's some more Death Guard minis. Still awesome. Absolutely ready for the tabletop. Better than most. Like most people, would paint a little bit less than this, or just this is about, sometimes like above average, and then they'll field it. But these ones look really good, even for your early painting. So you definitely started coming into your own. The later on we get into the more grimdark style, such as like some homebrew chapter stuff you got going here with the lieutenant with the combi weapon. I can tell it's starting to get a lot more grimdark, and I love what you did with this, man. So, and then I even see that you said done with enamels by Villainy Inks. So is that what you normally use to paint, or how's your painting process now?
I typically use enamels from Villainy Inks because they're just really good and high quality. I can always rely on them for unifying wash and special effects. But it's not only using the Villainy Inks range. I use the AK products. I use AK Abtalung, the oil paints. Oils are very nice to use. They're very forgiving as well because you can just wipe them off with your finger or just use mineral spirits to just wash them away. So oils are extremely good. I suggest everyone should try them. I think a lot of people try to avoid them because they're a bit intimidating at first because acrylic and oil do not go well together because it's water and oil. And we all know what happens when water and oil go together. It just doesn't work.
Doesn't mix.
It does not mix, let me tell you what. But the oils are super nice for the Grimdark style because you can streak them, you can use them as a wash, you can use them as a pin wash. They're just extremely versatile overall.
Interesting. Yeah, I have not dabbled in oils yet. I have done a little bit with enamel work, and I do like enamels a lot too. And the more that I'm painting, the more I'm realizing like how enamels can really elevate your painting process. You'll probably get a lot better at it too. The thing I got to figure out is how you mix the colors together to get the right thing, because when you're working with enamels it's a little bit different, but that's something I could learn over time, and the more I use them I'm sure the better I'll get eventually. So and even
oils are interesting to work with. It's like you don't just slap them on and leave them, Most of them just look kind of weird. There's a bit of nuance to them, especially with special effects oils. You have to use them in certain ways or in strange ways. You don't just slap them on. And the more you work with them, the more you realize, oh, I need to do like this with them.
Gotcha. Okay. And then here's Lieutenant Titus of the Second Company, just looking outstanding here on that base that you did. I'm curious, how did you do that base for the listeners or those watching? How do you do that effect?
So The bases are actually very simple.
Hmm.
They're just cork with texture paste and rocks I smashed outside,
Hmm.
sprinkled on. That's the base. The base is just as important as the mini, in my opinion.
Hmm.
It's not a case of I just leave the base as is. No, I think personally you should put as much time into the base, or at least a similar amount of time to the base as you did with the miniature, because the base ties everything together.
Yep.
And
100%.
I mean, since I don't really play the tabletop too often, base height and width doesn't matter to me.
Fair.
I want to paint these. I want to portray somewhat of a story with these models. So with Titus, I tried to make the base look muddy with some like mossy green around, and with mud to kind of portray how in Space Marine 2 he was on Kadaku a lot, running around and still killing Tyranids. I tried to kind of portray that in the base.
That's really cool. I can definitely see it looking at it now. That makes a lot more sense. So it does tell a story. You literally captured him in the moment there. And then we get on to the Death Leaper here, and holy crap. It just looks awesome with the green oozing and the skull work and just everything about the base. And I agree too, man. I think the base should also be a big part of the mini, if not as important of the mini, depending on what model it is. If you're just doing little Space Marines like I've got, I can elevate them now, of course, or like add some basing effects, if you will, and I can do that. But then it's like for the larger models or for like the standout models, that's where I'm like, okay, I should put a lot more time into this base rather than just simplifying the process and just sticking it on the plastic. I 100% agree with you there, man. So, when did you start doing the cork, if you will, and like what kind of inspired you to start doing that?
Oh, the cork is just from just my research around the
Hmm.
internet, watching YouTube videos. I just thought adding the height and the other textures just looked really nice. If you look through my old Instagram, you see my old Captain and Gravis armor I made for a buddy.
Ooh.
It looks like kind of like crap. I'm gonna be honest. But that was like my early like trial and errors of using cork. But if you continue scrolling up past my inner circle companions, on my Instagram,
Yes.
you can see how I've gotten more used to it and how I've incorporated better into the base. It's a little more natural.
Yes. Absolutely. Wow. Is this Dante here? It looks like Dante, but it could be. Oh, it is Commander Dante.
That is Commander Dante.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. And then, of course, we got Primarch of the Dark Angels there, the Lion, and that looks really good too. You can see him holding it right there, and like you can tell a real artist because it's like art is messy, and like it's like you're using multiple different paints, you're using multiple different medias to like put this together. And it's just really good work what you're putting out, man. It's just awesome to see. And it's inspiring too. So like me in the grimdark aesthetic as well, I really like to see the work that other artists are doing, like yourself, man. So and then here's another one where you did a commission work as a diorama piece of Abaddon and Loken. So this looks really good as well. And I could see what you've been doing here. And it looks like they were puttied on there, but they weren't like. I'm sure you glued them down and everything like that.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's
I
just
only did it
for
for the photography. I went to package them separately so they wouldn't break off or anything.
fair. No, but I can see it with the base. Really good, awesome work. Just looks so cool, man. It does tell a story. It really does. And that's art, absolutely. Even here's some terrain piece, right? So another commission he did as well. He wanted a base of Perturabo done, and you were able to take a knight and use that as the base. And that is just so fun.
This is the Forge World resin Perturabo base. My buddy got it. His name's Lone. Shout out to Lone. He bought this off eBay, and I offered, hey, he didn't know how to do the base, so I offered, hey, I'll do it you just pay him like $60.
Yeah.
And we did it, and I had a lot of fun painting this. Actually, it was just so cool watching it all come together with my washes, my enamels, my special effects.
Yeah. It looks so realistic, man. It really does. It looks awesome. Wow. How long do you think it took for you to do something like this? If you were to, like, do you think you paint pretty fast, or are you more meticulous?
A week and a half.
A week and a half? Okay. Yeah, that's a good amount of time that you.
I was also dealing with stuff in university, so I spaced out my time pretty well. But
yeah, that's a good turnaround time. Yeah, and you're doing stuff at university, like you were saying, so you're still getting quality work done while you're studying and all that. So yeah, that's really cool. So for those of you who are looking to get some commission work done, well, look no further. We can go ahead and go over to his website, and you can see that, I'll link this in the description as well, or I'll put links wherever I can. But this is somewhere if you want to get in contact with Neo. He can even talk about like what he does, a little bit about himself, right? Some of his specialties that he does, and then some war relics, as he calls them. I love that, along with the pricing as well. So, with that being said, like, how did you get into commission painting? How did you come into this space?
I just thought that since I'm doing this hobby and I'm already having a lot of fun doing it, I decided, hey, why don't I try to make some money on the side?
Yeah.
Because hobby's expensive, man. This sucks. It's so expensive. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I might as well try. And I mean, I've got a few commissions. It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
Try. Like, always try, They would, like, that's another thing. I don't know when trying did not become cool. Just try stuff, dude. Like, it's how I got into the painting atmosphere to begin with. I tried, It's that first step into doing something, So I just try doing commissions. I'm like, why not? It's not going to hurt me.
True.
If it doesn't work out, it's just like a little thing I can do on the side, and I just advertise myself on a few like servers and game stores, and I've gotten a few commissions.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, trying. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't gotten myself out there yet to be like, hey, I'll paint for someone else. But I have been in circles, or when I was at our local gaming store and I did play a game of 40K. I overheard some of the older gentlemen talking about how they can't really paint anymore, but they still want to play the game. And they're like, I wouldn't mind having someone, paint the rest of my army for me because I just can't do it anymore. So like that's an example right there where maybe if I was a little bit more confident in myself, I could have been like, well, I'm a bit of a painter myself. So, and maybe try for it there and be like, hey, I'll paint, your guardsmen to this standard quality for $15, $20, $25, however it would be, or negotiate with them. But yeah, that's really good. And then kind of here it says about me. He says, I paint in the grimdark aesthetic, heavy weathering, scratchy metals, and an overall narrative atmosphere that you can choke on. I love it. Every model that I paint leaves my hands looking like a century of corruption and war. Damn, I love that too. Whether it's a champion of the grandfather clan, clad in his disgusting and rusted armor, an ancient weathered warrior in your next D&D campaign, or a squad of Cadians that were supposed to die hours ago, I bring the darkness out in every piece. All commissions are handled with attention to a narrative and a story. Think of it as not just a model, but a story within a base. Oh, that's so good. Well, I love how you wrote that, man. And then you talk about your specialties here. So he is a Death Guard fan, of course. So Chaos Unites, an AOS Maggotkin of Nurgle, Emperor's Angels, i.e. the Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, and then rusted, battle-damaged bases and surfaces. So maybe if you want something like that, that's something he could do. Absolutely. Surface variation, one source lighting or OSL, and then bases as well. So those are some of the specialties that he has, and we can go down to the war relics here in his gallery. And then we got the Lord of Poxes. We got Kravik Morn, which I have. I still got to paint him up. Deathwing Knight, Lieutenant Titus, the Warp Possessed, and then the Death Leaper as well. So that's, if you want an example of what Grimdark painting style kind of looks like, you can see here, or if we go back to his Instagram, here's the Lord of Poxes and all of its disgusting awesomeness that he is. You can get an idea of what the Grimdark style is right here. So this is a really good looking Space Marine here. And yeah, the Lord of Poxes is really good. He gives it life. So very fun. Here's another commission that he did as well for the Gestarin Terminators. So for 30K, that's Horus Heresy for those that don't know. So there's 40K and then there's 30K, but he can work with all of that. So that's really good as well. Let's see. So let me ask you, Neo, which miniature do you like the most, or which one have you painted that you're most proud of?
Lord of Poxes.
Lord of Poxes.
I'd like to mention with the Lord of Poxes is the Grimdark aesthetic is not just making things look gritty with some grime and stuff. It's about, the main thing for me, in my opinion, is surface variation. Surface variation really gives life to a model. If you look closely at, like, by Lord of Poxes in the full picture,
yes,
you can see how there is some stuff that looks glossy, some stuff that looks matte, especially the rusted sword. His little cape dress has textured cloth. There's granules in those wounds I put on him. Each part has its own surface variation, because surface variation kind of gets rid of the copy and paste type of thing that some models that the heavy metal style does, which the heavy metal style is fine.
Right.
But I just think the surface variation really makes it unique, you know?
Absolutely. And I'm clicking through it right now, and you can really see the texture differences between, and that rusted sword literally looks like a rusted sword. It's crazy, man. And I know another thing that you do too, some other things that Neo does that also differentiates him from other miniature artists is that he'll add like chains, for example. So those are real chains that he puts on here, bases, and paints them and coats them, along with the cape. So that would be, I believe you use cheesecloth for that sometimes, right?
Yeah, I use cheesecloth and a combination of just tissue paper.
Gotcha. Yeah, but it looks great. It looks really good, man. And then here's the word bearer, that possessed, and just looks really good with the glowing green and the bases that he set here. You can also see he did use the chain wrap, so around his neck. I'm kind of highlighting that visual for everyone to see, so you can see the chain is added. So just another really cool thing that Neo does, kind of as a signature thing, if you will, that I've noticed that he does, where some other artists don't always do that. So he's using like real life media, and putting it on his minis. So now that I look at the Lord of Poxes, is the chain wrap on top of his power pack, did you do that, or did it come like that?
The chain that's wrapped around the little tube thing on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I added that myself.
Oh, you added that yourself. It looks like it could come with it. Wow. Yeah, so that looks really good. So that's another example right there. of Neo doing that. So on that like exhaust or intake fan, whatever it is, it looks awesome. So yeah.
Chains add to the whole surface variation thing. There's more. There's just more to look at. There's more things. And speaking of the warp to the possessed,
Yes.
I put chains on them because I wanted to portray a story of how these specific warp possessed were like chained up, and the ward bears didn't really want to use them because they were terrified of them, but they got out, so now they're like loose on the battlefield, just murdering people.
I love that. Yeah, they think that they can control them, and then they're like, "Oh man, we can't control these things. They're gonna kill everything." Yeah, interesting. So there's some backstory there on that mini and why he chose to do that. So what a great thing! I love that. Like shackled up, and then it broke free, and now it's coming around, and everyone's gonna pay. That's so fun. So what was, if you could think back, what was like the first miniature you ever painted?
Oh, my first ever miniature?
Yeah.
Crappy little orc.
A little orc.
It's a little... Is he around? Hold on. Yeah, I found him. I always keep him by my desk, but it's a little orc boy with a shooter that came with the old, like, I guess old now, considering the orc's been changed. The old orc boys kid. And he gives me that's a nostalgia because it's like it's one of the first minis I ever painted. And now I can look at him and be like, yeah, I actually improved. On the second, things are okay. So yeah, it's a little orc boy.
Yeah, that was one of my first minis too. Was a bunch of Gretchen. So I painted them, and I got them because they were on super sale. It was like a box of 10 of them for, I think it was like $12. It was such a steal. So I was like, why would I buy like an army if I don't even know if I'm good at this yet, number one. Number two, I don't even know if I'll like it. And number three, I should probably practice before I actually buy my army. And then I'm like, I should have some idea of how to do this. So, and they turned out better than I thought. A lot better than I thought. So that's what kind of gave me the confidence to be like, you know what, maybe I should buy an army and start painting them. And of course I chose Chaos, but I also have my Imperial Guard too. So those are slowly being worked on, but mostly just getting my Chaos army together, Black Legion specifically. So yeah, but
it's just that case of just trying, always try. Even if it doesn't work out, or if you're not good at it the first few times, just try.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And there's plenty of videos out there, tutorials. Like I learned how to paint literally from YouTube. I like Googled it. I would research it. I would go on like Reddits. I would go on blogs or like there's a lot of larger YouTubers out there. Most of you are probably familiar with. Like Squidmar or whatever, he's really popular, but like he's at a very high level of painting. So I was taking what he was doing and being like, oh, I need Kolinsky brushes. Oh, I need to have these types of paints, and I need to have all this stuff that most of it I didn't really end up using. So I kind of did the newbie thing where I was like, I need 100 paints. I'm just gonna buy all of them. So I bought all these paints. And there's a couple I haven't even opened yet. So
at least you have them for later.
Yes, at least I'll have them for later. Exactly. So, and now I'm getting better. Like, as I'm growing and learning and getting my style down, or like my process down for painting miniatures. I've learned that there's a couple paints that I can rely on, but I know how to use those paints, or if I need to blend them, or if I need to use them more, I have a wet palette. And then I have my go-to brushes as well. So you'll kind of learn your own process as you're going through this if you're a newer painter. Or if you're starting out, or maybe you've been painting, but you're trying to like get to that next level. Like Neo said, just trying is a really good way to just start. So that's some really good advice that he gives, and I definitely agree with that too. Let's see. And then with that, Neo, if you have anything, if you wish you could like start over, or if you had like, some tips for new painters, besides what you just said, if there's anything else that you wanted to, part some wisdom onto some of these impressionable people, what would you say?
Chill out. That's what I would say. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Hmm.
Don't panic buy stuff. And definitely, unless you really want to, don't pay for someone's Patreon shit. It's really annoying.
Fair.
That's my biggest pet peeve about anyone is that they have a Patreon and they lock all their tips behind it.
Yeah.
It's really scummy, in my opinion. Hobby's expensive enough, and that's why I say chill out. Don't panic buy a freaking goat hair single brush that's made in Mongolia 50 years ago. That's like $800, dude. Don't panic buy stuff. And that goes the same for models. Don't panic buy models either. These are expensive. That's the thing people don't talk about, in my opinion. Hobby's expensive as hell. So, don't panic buy paints, don't panic buy brushes, and definitely don't panic buy someone's freaking Patreon for tips. I've gotten to where I am to a point where I'm comfortable without paying for anyone's subscription or anything. Just slow down and just take your time with the hobby and have fun. Because at the end of the day, it's a hobby,
Yeah.
It shouldn't be stress-inducing. You shouldn't get mad, Well, yeah, you can't get mad, actually. I hate, especially a building that pissed me off, but just slow down and just learn slowly, Don't panic rush into thinking, I suck at this, because you are going to suck at this. Everyone sucks at some point.
Fair.
But if you get to a level where you're comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm not bad, I'm actually pretty good at this, no matter your skill level, I think you've already reached a really good point, because some people are just not comfortable where they are always, and they're always pushing for more and more and more, but it's never enough for them. And I don't like being that person. I hate being that person, because constantly pursuing something that you might just never get is going to drive you insane. Literally. That's the definition of insanity, is trying something over and over again, expecting something to change. So just slow down, chill out, and have fun. That's my advice.
Thank you for that, Neil. That's really good advice, and I absolutely agree with all that too. Yeah, it's like, I get it for people who are like trying to rush for a tournament and they're trying to paint their minis as quickly as possible. Like, that's one thing. But like, another thing is, if you're in the hobby and you want to enjoy it and like paint your army or paint miniatures, even if you don't play the game, just chill out and like just realize that you are on your own schedule and you're just kind of rowing your own boat. And every miniature is going to be different. Not every single one is going to be the same. So, painting one might take 10 minutes for whatever reason. You paint it really quick. The next one might take 15 minutes. So, don't put yourself into a hard spot where like, I have to complete this within 4 hours, or like you see YouTube videos of artists stressing to get an entire army done within 24 hours. As much as it is entertaining, they all report that they absolutely hated the entire thing. They regret doing it. I'm sure you've seen that too, Neo, where like artists are like, can we do 3,000 points within 48 hours? And they literally like don't sleep, and they're just painting these minis in like an assembly process. And by the end of it, they're just like, well, I got it done, but it sucked.
I slept, I haven't eaten, I want to die.
Yeah.
Like, alright.
Yep.
But I guess, when it comes to content, because that works. But if you're just a person,
yeah,
don't do that.
Agreed. 100%.
Just do one model per night.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
For the love of God, yes.
Please.
Oh my God, just chill. Seriously, yeah. If it's stressing you out, then I mean I feel sorry for you if you're stressed out doing this. I try to this is where I de-stress. This is where I push away the world, or I just put on a YouTube video, or I have some music going in the background, and it's just me and whatever I'm working on. And that's why I like this hobby too, is it gets you working with your hands. You get to use your imagination. And whatever comes on the box doesn't mean that you have to do exactly what's on the box. If you want to change the painting scheme, you can. If you want to have your guys a different faction, you can do that too. So don't just get transfixed on like what's on the box to say, okay, that's what I have to do. Like, I look at it and I see it as a challenge personally. I look at the box and I say, I bet I could do better. That's just me. That's how I look at it. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty good, but I could definitely do better. So like, that's how I challenge myself, but I'm not stressing myself out at the same time. So, that's how I kind of do things. But, everyone's of course a little different, and you'll figure it out along the way, just like Neo has. So how fun!
Always figure it out along the way.
Yep, absolutely.
Just like with life.
Just like with life, man. Absolutely, man. Oh, that's so fun, so cool. So here's Neo's again, his Instagram. I strongly suggest you check him out. Follow him, please, and support him. He's just a good guy doing great things. And if you ever want to hang out too, we do have a Discord. So for those that don't know, you can go to our Discord. It's in my... if you go to my YouTube channel, under the description, there'll be a bunch of links and stuff. You'll see my Chaotic Crafter Zero server invite link in there. It's permanent, so it's not going to change. You don't need a password. I don't charge you anything to join. So if you want to like join and hang out with people like this and great artists, and maybe you could talk to them, pick their brain a little bit, like that's a good way to do it. So we just got to stick together. And then back to Neo's website here. I do see the pricing here at the bottom. Is there anything you want to talk about with that, or anything else I should add, my friend?
It's outdated.
Oh, it's outdated.
It's pretty outdated.
Okay.
I kind of put that there just because I didn't know what to put. But prices are negotiable. Can always talk about prices, because it really depends if I have to build the model, how much I have to put on the model, what you want. If it's more of like a tabletop piece or a showcase piece. So, more or less, the prices are for just DM me on Discord or Instagram, and we can talk about it. I'm not gonna bite. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Don't be afraid.
That's
I'm a
true.
very approachable person.
Yeah.
I won't like berate you for asking a question.
Fair. Absolutely. Yep. And I know you're in the Cali area, but would you be open to people wanting to do this like a shipment process or something like that, or how does that work?
Oh yeah, I've already shipped stuff to like Texas and New York.
Awesome. So there you go.
I can try doing international, but that's a whole different spiel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's let's just say it's might not be worth it. So unfortunately,
that's a whole different spiel that I'm afraid to do.
Yes, agreed. Even shipping to Canada, it's a little bit more than you'd think. Not impossible. So it's not impossible, but at least within the U.S., it's not optimal. Exactly. Very well said. It's not optimal. But as you can see, he's an established artist. He does commission work. And again, these prices are negotiable. So just reach out to him. He's a great person with great style and really good stories to tell. And, he can make your piece be the next one that everyone else can oogle at and say, how did you do that? And you're like, well, actually, it's this guy that I know did it. So very, very cool. I really appreciate you doing this interview with me, Neo. I know we're friends, and we talk quite a bit on Discord almost every other day, if not every day, we're chatting. But I really want to thank you for taking your time and chatting with me and answering my questions and just getting to know you a little bit more as an artist. I just want to support you, man. I know you're doing great things, and I just want to help you out. So for others that are watching this, you can obviously see his links and everything like that. And we have our Discord too. So that's all good and dandy. that's pretty much all I got for tonight. Is there anything else you want to talk about, man?
What do you think about the state of the hobby right now? 11th edition.
11th edition. So what do I think about it? I went in a couple days ago. They were having at my local gaming store. They were opening up for 11th edition, so it was like a little mini party. I wasn't able to stay the whole time, but I did walk around and I did notice some things. One thing I noticed was the terrain. As much as it's great, the problem is that they're also objectives, right? And for one map or terrain, I guess 40K game, it was knights versus necrons. And the knights, I'm not kidding because everything's like measured out a certain way. The knights couldn't even move around the table properly. Yeah. I was shocked when I saw that because he's like, well, maybe I could do this, or maybe you couldn't fit. And some of the rules were like you can't topple things. Like it was kind of strange, and they were trying to figure out how that works. So that was something that I noted, and I was like, well, that's disturbing. Like he had all knights versus necrons, and he could barely move the knights around the table because the terrain requirements for whatever match that they were playing. You get your mission decks and everything like that. So they set it up that way, and he couldn't even move his knights or to get on certain objectives either, because you have to be inside of it to get on it. So he could only have his toe on it, basically. So it's kind of funny. Other things I noticed. I talked to some players, and they talked about the strength of certain units, saying that the Tyranids are OP. Some people were mentioning that Ultramarines are OP, along with, what was the other one? It wasn't Orcs. Maybe it was the Necrons. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see that. Of course, they'll do balancing and points updating and everything like that. Other than that, everybody else was still playing it for the first time, so there was definitely some needing to go back to the core rules and look that up to understand what you're doing, because it is slightly different. And then some of the people said that they were having a good time. So overall, I think it was pretty positive from what I saw. So that's nice. And then, of course, there's the older generation players who are I've been playing since 6th edition, and now they're trying to forget everything else and then learn a new edition is kind of tough for them. So for me, I'm on the tail end of 10th, and now I'm going into the 11th, so that's a good place to be. So if you're newer to the hobby and you're getting into 11th, you'll be fine. But if you're someone who's played older editions and you're trying to play the newest edition, you might have a little bit of a hard time just kind of getting your brain wrapped around the mechanics now. So that's what I've noticed. And then we'll have to see how the codex releases are going to go. So that's another thing I'm also curious about. Is they already got they obviously already have Space Marines codex out, and then the Orcs codex came with the launch set. And then everything else is kind of up in the air. I did post something from Spiky Bits that they had information on the inside of releases of new code when the new codexes are coming out. And they said that Chaos Space Marines codexes, which is mine, should be coming out next, and then followed by Imperial Guard. So we'll see. I wish there was a little bit more, what's the word? Updates from GW on when they actually are going to drop this. That way we can kind of be ready for that. So I wouldn't buy any codexes or anything like that yet. Save your money. You can buy the mission decks if you want. That might be helpful because I have seen the cards online. You can get those individually. So those are coming out, which is nice. You don't have to buy the big box set or anything like that. They're reasonably priced right now, so they're not too expensive. And then I am seeing There are the big box sets that came out and the battle boxes for Armageddon, but when I went to my LGS, not even a week before, when I went in for the little mini tournament, I did see that they had like individual, for like Imperial Guard, some of their new carriers that they have are individually boxed now. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to buy a big box set. Like if you just want the Hippogriff, you can now buy just the Hippogriff. So, but most people would probably buy like, if they're going to get it, it'll probably be like 3 or 5 things in a box rather than buying them individually. But at least GW is doing that too. So if you just want one model, instead of buying the whole box, it might be a possibility. So that's what I've seen so far from 11th. What have you heard?
I also heard the same thing about the terrain being a problem. Like, I do like how they're leaning more into the narrative.
Yes.
For games, but like, now I feel bad. I bought a freaking Chaos Knight Ruinator and 2 War Dogs so I could try Chaos Knights. Now I'm hearing, they can barely fit on the freaking board. So
yeah,
screw me, I guess.
Yeah. Like your War Dogs might be able to get around, but that big Ruinator, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's the only thing that. Yeah, so just be cognizant of that. Hopefully, or if I were you, if you do play against someone, pick a map that is best for maneuvering your knights. But if you're playing against someone who doesn't have knights, that might be a little bit difficult. So just be cognizant of that. So before you choose a mission, or whatever layout you're going for, just like measure it out and be like, okay, does it make sense for me to have my knights on the table? Will they actually be able to like move around properly, or are they going to get stuck and they can't engage targets properly? Things like that. So I would be just as a heads up for you. So maybe not a deal breaker, but just something I noticed. So
yeah.
Okay, good to go. And then it's good that we're getting. They did release the core rules digitally up front so we could read them before we even have the physical copies. So that's kind of nice. So they released things pretty much up front, minus the individual codexes for each faction. I don't know when those are going to come out. And then there's a lot of teasers, and they're doing a lot for like new models being released constantly. So GW is dropping models, like sprinkling them in every once in a while, and it's pretty impressive because I know for a long time there were many models that they weren't showing new models until it was like halfway through or towards the end of the year or a new edition, and then nothing. So now GW is doing pretty good with like sprinkling in like, hey, here's some new AOS. Hey, here's some old world, because I feel like they don't get a lot of attention either. So they're trying. So that's exciting, and I think it's a good time to be in the hobby for multiple different ways, like the video game, like you were talking about, such as Space Marine 1. Space Marine 2 is amazing, so like that's exciting too, to see that Games Workshop is also investing into that side of things, because they know that if you want to get into the hobby, maybe you don't have time to paint and build your army, or maybe you get a commissioner, someone you could commission an artist to paint it for you. But let's just say you want to play cool video games, and you still want to be in the universe. Well, hey, they're coming out with Dawn of War. They're coming out with Bolt Gun 2 is coming out, which I love. And then, of course, Space Marine 2 as well. So, and a bunch of mobile games. So if you like playing mobile games, they have a couple of those, such as Tacticus, for example. So, not a sponsor of any of them, but that's cool to see too. So it's a great time to be in it.
No better time when the prices.
Absolutely. And a lot of books coming out too. So they're doing new books and like lore drops, and I haven't read any of the really new stuff. The most recent book I read was Gene Father, and that was it. So that's the most recent up-to-date universe book that I've read. So which it was fun. It was a really good read. So I haven't read any of the other newer novels that came out, but I think GW is doing pretty good stuff. It's just the pricing is a problem. and the FOMO that they have, that's also a problem too. So, but like Neo said, just chill. Don't feel like you have to panic buy any of this stuff. Like, it just released. Dude, I walked in there. When I first went in there were like 8 boxes of 11th edition. When I went in there last week, there were maybe 5 left. So, still plenty on the table for people to buy. And I'm sure if you really wanted it, you could go to a different store and purchase it there. Or even on Amazon, which is interesting too. So if you want to buy it off Amazon, now you can do that. So GW's kind of branching out to try to get access out there. So we'll see. I'm not going to hate on it completely, because if I hated on it, then why am I in the hobby? If I hate who's making it, I don't agree with everything, but I'm glad to be in it, and I think now's a great time to be in it. So no, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Yeah. So 11th edition is here. I haven't played it yet, but when the tournament comes up, I'll have to do some points checking on my army that I have, my Chaos army, and I want to see if I can field them. And I definitely want to get the Defiler out there to see what he can do. So, yeah, really, really fun. So, how cool. But other than that, that's all I got on my end. Anything else, my friend?
I think I'm all good on my end too.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, we can go ahead and end it here. Again, I really want to thank our friend Neo here for being willing to do this interview and just getting to know him and like what he brings and how he does things. And it's really cool. And so you're in the 2nd episode. So that's all I got for Travis with Chaotic Crafter Zero. You can come check out my channel. You can come check us out on Discord. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of people in here, and some other people I'll probably interview too. But yeah, if you want to go on here, you can go to Hobby Showcasing. You could see what everybody's working on. So if you ever have any questions, or you want to learn about how did you do that, or how could I do this, or you want to learn more about painting, like, we're a great group of people. We will do everything we can to help you, give you some guidance, maybe some tips. If you want it shot straight and you're like, hey, what do you think of this model? I'm open to, criticism. It's okay. We can do that too. So we're all here to help each other out, build each other, get better. We have our little community, great group of people. So, but other than that, that's all I got. This is Travis with Chaotic Crafter Zero signing out. Until next time. Thank you, Neo. Have a good time.
Later.
All right. Bye.